Welcome to the recap, BBR 1940 setup, the end of the world game 3 here during the lockdown. And there's your IPC chart. We're going on to turn 4, and Russia will be able to declare war, so that will make everyone get war against everyone, unless they don't declare war on Japan. I don't know why they would. They don't have anything on the front line with Japan, so that would be silly. However, the techs, Russia did get their tech, but they can't use it because they weren't at war, so that is what it is. The Axis did pick up 2 victory points this turn, the Horn of Africa and Cairo, so that gives them a total of 8. Of course, as I was moving those pieces, these two, I didn't have the camera on them. That was silly. So those are the 2 new ones, and like I said, that gives them 8 of the 12 they need, and the game is starting the 50% mark of the game. There's turn 4, there's turn 8 max, so, well, I guess technically, there's turn 4 left, so that's 5 turns left, but we're almost halfway done here. And as we look across the board here, as far as combat, the Pacific is quiet. China, there was several battles. Japan took the entire front line back from China. And then China took back the front line that Japan had infringed upon. But as you can see, China is getting smaller and smaller each turn. The big action was here in the Middle East, where we've got, well, that was just a walk-on victory. I guess I turned those markers over. I should have done that. The Horn of Africa is one of the points, which I believe is this, that. I don't think that's part of it. If it is, we'll have to pull the victory point off, but I think it's just these countries right there. And then Iran, Italy sent most of its units, not all of them, into Iran. Managed to wipe out the British, but lost just as many units. The British took Transjordan back, only to lose Cairo in a massive Italian assault. There was heavy casualties on both sides. So I want to say both sides had double-digit units there, and not really sure. There must have been in mid-teens maybe, and maybe high teens, but either way, a lot of casualties. Egypt came out on top. Some positioning around here, and the British lost their fleet in Sea Zone 110 again. But the British are very stubborn. They built 2 destroyers for another battle in Sea Zone 110 this turn, unless he just decides to leave, which I guess he could. But, you know, you can't take the units, because, you know, you can't unload your units onto those transports in a hostile sea zone. So that was the purpose of building destroyers. But he can kill the destroyers and then load the transports and move in non-com. So we can't completely thwart the movement, but for the combat movement we did. Hooray. And oddly enough, the same thing on this side of the board. Moved a destroyer into the Sea Zone 36 with the Japanese. Anzac declares war, thereby bringing UK and Canada into the war against Japan. So now this is a hostile sea zone. So for combat move, these transports do nothing. Non-com, they can move. They can load and move in non-com. But when was the last time you saw that take place on both sides of the world? In the Pacific and the Atlantic, British destroyers creating a pain in the neck for the Axis. All right, so the next turn, well, I would mention the Americans, but all they're doing is just buying and sitting. So there's nothing to talk about there. And I digress though, because next turn the Americans are in the action. So now though it's Germany turn 4, and we'll get to see if they declare war on Russia or if they leave Russia alone another turn. And that is it. Hope you're enjoying the game. See you next turn.